size the Purdue had? How big a challenge is it?
Oh, it's as big as one as we face, obviously because of the size. And when you've got three centers like that, they play two of them together. It's always going to be an issue. And so we've got to do our work early, and you don't guard them with one person. And we've got to have tremendous team defense, and we've got to have tremendous team rebounding. And at the same time, we've got to be able to get out to our strengths.
Do you see Max as maybe a candidate to start or play starters minutes?
Oh yeah, he'll play a lot of minutes. I haven't decided yet in the starting lineup. I mean, we switched it last week, obviously, at Michigan State. So we really haven't. I've thought about that, but I haven't made a decision on that yet. But I would fully expect that we're going to need everybody on our front line tomorrow to play really good minutes. It's great that Joanna's coming off such a strong game. OG can get inside and play. Colin has guarded bigger people before, and certainly Thomas and Max are going to have to do a great job for us.
We didn't ask you, I guess, then, but did you get what you were hoping for out of Max when you did start him in East Lansing?
Oh, I think so.
Double-double.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I thought Colin did a good job. I mean, again, to me, it's having numerous starters, in my mind, which I think we do. So, and that was a matchup-based decision. Tomorrow could be, it may not be. I mean, either way, they're both going to play a lot. So, just a matter of how we want to start the game, I guess.
Tom, we have a game like this. This is, I think, is the first time since you've been in Indiana that both teams are ranked. Both teams have 21 wins. Now it's a nationally significant game. Does that add even more to the?
No, I think we play a lot of nationally significant games, and so do they. And to me, I think it's always been a huge game, and I'm sure the fans of both sides would say the same thing. But we have a lot of respect for them, so we know how good they are, and they've got a lot of veterans. They've got a lot of guys. They've got a lot of experience on that team, and we're going to have to play extremely well because of the challenges that they bring on both ends. They're hard to score against, and so we've got to be really, really sound. And this is not a game we're going to be able to come out and try to make plays that aren't there. But it's also not a game we want to come down and pass the ball 15 times. I mean, we want to play our way, but we want to play very smart and sound.
The Big Ten does protected rivalries in football. That's been discussed some in basketball. Would you like to see that to where like IU, Purdue play at home?
I don't have an opinion on that. I mean, that's all comes down to what the schedule makers make. Just like schedule, comes out of the computer, and
Right.
that's what we play. So I leave that to those people to make those decisions. But I mean, we always look forward to Purdue, and I'm sure they do the same.
When you face bigs on offense, is it important to reverse it even as much as possible, or do you want to bring your bigs out a little bit?
I think you have to. Yeah, they blocked 15 shots last year in 2 games. So we've got to make them move, and certainly we'll be a little bit different scoring in the post than we were a year ago. But you've got to make the game move, and but we would anyways. I mean, this is not a game where if we're dribbling the ball a lot, we play right into their hands. If we're driving and passing and kicking and moving, then we play our way. And we play into a lot of people's hands when we just dribble the ball. I mean, you can't try to just make something happen against this team. You've got to be committed to the spacing, to the ball movement, to the screening. Our screening's got to be good because they're very, very good on the ball. And because that length, we fully expect that there'll be guys like Troy, they probably won't even guard very much, right? They'll just sit and camp out in the lane like they have in the past. So we've got to be very diligent with that. So I don't think this is a game where you can look at it and say, okay, this is the one way or the 2 ways we're going to play against them. I don't think you can do it on either end of the court. But with us, we're coming off one less day, and my biggest concern was making sure that we've got enough energy and that we're rested enough for this game, especially with the way we played on Wednesday night, and the fact that they've had an extra day, it works for them or works in their favor, and we need to make sure that our energy is really high. Well, part of that is that mental energy, and knowing that we have to play a couple different ways, and the last thing we want to become is stagnant in any of it.
Is beating Purdue one of the checkpoints for a successful season? When you had those 4 in a row that came across the back-to-back Sweet 16 years, I was kind of wondering.
I just think, I don't think like that. I mean, we want to get our 22nd win. It's a big game. I don't really look at them as check marks. I mean, you want every win, and our guys been really good at doing it that way. So, obviously, You want to beat Purdue, they want to beat us, but we want to beat Nebraska, we want to beat everybody we play. So, I mean, they all count the same. I know to the fans it's different, but we just want to play our very best in the game, and at the end of the year, look back at it.
When you get this late in the season, and I know you don't pay too much attention to the conference standings, but when you get to a point where it's kind of obvious who the sort of finalists are for the title, do these guys handle it well? Do they block that out? Do you want them to block it out? Do you want them to use it as
I don't spend a lot of
motivation?
time talking about it. I mean, they seem pretty focused to me. But winning games, I mean, we're in the hunt, so I would say they're pretty focused. I mean, I think everybody pays attention to it. I think there's a lot of teams that think they're in the hunt right now, and rightfully so, because there's still 2+ weeks of the season left. You know, there's the weekend plus 2 more weeks, so I think a lot of teams are sitting there. You know, the people that are talking about not being in the league race, there's very few that could not say that, right? And so they're all looking for those games. So I think we just do what we've done, which is absolutely stay centered on ourselves, centered on each game, centered on each preparation, centered on each practice, and making sure that we can look at the end of each day and know that we got better. And that's the whole key.
It's obviously going into the final stretch of the season, and you're getting good play from 2 freshmen, OG and Juwan, who sort of like came along, maybe different rates. What does it do for you guys to have both those guys playing the way they are this time of year?
Well, I think it's big, because you want your consistency is only, your consistency is the whole key, right? It's not the depth, it's the consistency of the players. And knowing that we're going to get great effort from them, that we're going to get really strong energy from them, that they're going to be locked in, that's the key. Doesn't mean they're going to play well every night, but it means that that's the key. And Juwan was totally ready for that moment the other night with all the switching. And you have to go into these games with different ways to win the game. You know, we're not a team, and let's just say, okay, this is the one way we're going to do it. And it's just not that way. I mean, and very few are. For the ones that are, hey, congratulations. I mean, they're really good when they can just have one way to beat you on both ends of the court. But for us, we've got to have multiple ways. And in the game the other night, it was getting to a point where we needed to switch everything. And Juwan is fully capable of that, just like OG is, and Thomas will be able to do that. So I look at it more like that than anything else. Can they do multiple things for your team? And there are multiple position players that are very versatile. And that's the whole key. And the fact that they're gaining confidence because they're getting it in the games makes it that much better.
Juwan was talking about how he and OG, because they've known each other for so long, will really root for each other just a lot and push each other. Do you see them pushing each other even more in practice, just with them being around each other as long as they have been?
I don't. I think they've been friends for a long time. I think they're all pretty close in that respect. They're on the court together a lot in practice. So, but yeah, I would. Juwan said it. I guess it's true. I don't look at it that way. You know, I'm really focused on all 15 of them. You know, rather than who's pushing who. I mean, I want them to push each other, and I think that's what we get for the most part.
Tell me, you look at a guy like Hammonds, who's developed over the course of his career, and now he might be the nation's best center. You know, you could argue that. But what challenges does he present with his ability to shot block as well as to score?
Well, he can really score. There's no question about that. He's got a lot of experience. He can rebound the ball. He can block shots. He's got very good timing. He's very good. I mean, he really is. And the size, he uses his size extremely well. And the rebounding is tremendous, that he brings. Anybody else? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll be right down here.